What's the first person you brought in to help you out with your business? And then what's your business look like today as far as who's helping you out and what roles?
Yeah. The first person let's start by saying that I believe that in the 80-20 principle, the 20% of my business is represented by acquisition. So I'm not too concerned never about disposition. I'm sure that if I can buy properties at a good price, I can sell them eventually. Probably I cannot sell in 1 month. I will sell in 3, 4, 5 months, but I'm going to sell and I'm going to sell for a profit. I'm 100% sure about it. So having this in mind, I was looking for a position that would help me. And that person was Nika, who is a girl from the Philippines. She was already coming from a real estate experience in the US, actually more than one. And she's my intake manager. So she's the entry point of everyone contacting us, willing to discuss about the offer that they received or ask questions. She does this kind of preliminary check, go on land ID, verify wetlands, flood zone, total access. And then the second step is for her to pass the lead to, until today, it was to me. And I was calling in case of, need of renegotiating the offer or there is the need to talk to the seller. I was the one doing it. And starting from the last month, I hired an acquisition manager, US based, Wesley, and he will start to work on the 3rd of February. So he's currently under training, but his their experience was working even in his young. But he has worked 2 years in a similar position for a big land investment company. And then there is me. So he will replace me as acquisition manager and he will get the signed purchase agreement essentially. And the other person that I have is Marwan. He's Egyptian. These two, they both work full time. Marwan work full time, but he has he is what I call a lead generation manager, which means that he is the one. I select the markets, he download the list, he scrub the list, he price the list, and then the list is ready to be put into my CRM and to be sent out to Rocket Printer Mail, that is the provider that I use to send out the letters. Actually, are these figures that I use. Of course, I have a person in the US who has is in charge of more admin tasks. I have an office in the US, which is his office, and he's taking care of receiving emails from the county attorneys or whatever, and then PDF them to me. And he's also the guy. He and also Wesley. I use both of them to help me with the signatures of the paper, being that most of the time I'm here in Italy, so they can sign and authorize on behalf of the company. And this is pretty much the organization that I have. For the next hire, I would like it to be someone able to cover the two roles of executive assistant, which means jump into my email, jump into my calendar, and actually organize my life, not necessarily business related, my life. So I need to take, a ticket. I need to hire, uh, rent a car. I need to uh, make a reservation for an hotel. I need someone to take care of that. And at the same time, this person would like her or him to be also a transaction coordinator. These are the two most important figures that I am looking forward to hiring in 2025 at some point.
And are you doing the underwriting? I guess obviously that's one of the
Yeah.
main things.
Yeah.
How do you think about the underwriting portion, especially when you get this acquisitions manager in between you and negotiating the deal? Are you going to do a bit of pre-underwriting, give him a negotiated final price, or are you going to train him to do that? And then what's that process look like, kind of getting the deal over the line and doing the underwriting when you put the acquisitions manager there?
Yeah, and the thing is, he still needs to start. So we're stuck on the three. At the moment, we are trying. I improved my SOPs because before it was me doing that, so I really didn't need any SOP. I had to create them, show to them, and discuss with them, try with them. And the way that it will work is once that Nika, my intake manager, has pre-qualified the list, going on NAD and verifying it, she will say, okay, for me, it's a good property or it's not a good property. This is just a pre-qualification. So it's the assessment of the take manager. And then at that point, once that I will have, let's say, we talk about Wesley, he will be in place since starting the 3rd of February. Essentially, Wesley will go into the CRM, will verify the opportunity into the CRM, the card of the property into the CRM, analyze the property, go on the counting tool that I am using and Zillow Redfin, and come with a market value. Now, once that it comes with a market value, there is some rule. And I actually took this from Ajay Sharma in a podcast that I think was with Seth Williams. He explained very well how he has his acquisition manager working. So essentially, and this is also what I will do, I want Wesley to be at least 75% confident about the price, the market value that he will find. If he's not 75% confident, then he will call me and we will see it together. If he is 75% confident, remember also that he has extensive experience. Okay. So I feel that he can do that. If he is 75% confident, then, and you say, so let's say I am 75% confident that this property is worth $100,000. Okay. So he can take 10% less and 10% more, which means 90,000 to 110,000. He takes the lowest, 90,000, and he can make an offer up to 55% of that 90,000 by himself without telling me anything. That is, autonomously, he can do that. If that is not enough, he can arrive to, there is a sliding scale depending on the market value that he identifies, but he has a sliding scale and has also autonomy to make a double close offer to the sellers that are not happy with the initial value for, let's say, the straight purchase. But of course, Wesley is aware that I'm always available. If he has any doubts, it's better to ask me, especially at the beginning. In any case, we will do, and we will work together. I will show him exactly how I want him to work.
Okay. And it sounds like the double close is if he's over the minimum price that you say he can automatically do, then he can try to negotiate a double close above that. Okay.
Yeah, like, for properties between 50,000 and the 80,000, you can offer between the 60 and the 67% of that lowest value. Property between, and so on and so forth. Price intervals, market value intervals, and for each interval, he has autonomy to go up to a certain price for the closing.
Okay. And what do you see for the initial offer outside the double close? It sounds like there's up to 40 to 60,000 range. What are your ranges? How do you chunk that down and think about what you might offer?
Well, consider that normally my offer, in my blind offer, the offer always goes between 48 and 55. And there is, so let's say for the straight purchase, okay? So there is a sliding scale, and the lower is the market value of the property that I come with when I price the list, and the lower is the percentage that I'm going to offer, but generally never less than 45%. I don't think that in this market, when I started, I was offering like 15%, 20%, and what's working now is not anymore. So the margin is getting thinner, but it's still there. And this is one more reason why you want to target higher value properties. And then meanwhile, the price of the property increase, and I can arrive in my blind offer up to 55%. But this is just as you well know, it's just, a ballpark price that you hope to be accurate. And then when the purchase agreement comes back or the seller calls and you get into the nitty gritty and you see that exact property on Redfin or Zillow, you realize that your offer probably is off, hopefully not too much. And then you work, as I was mentioning, so Wesley identify the price and offer up to 50% of the lower. And then it's for the blind offers. And now I don't remember, but I have 3 or 4 intervals there into my SOP. And I think the first start from 40,000 to 70,000. And I think it goes between 56% to 5. And then there is a second one that goes between 71 to 100 that arrive at probably 70%. And then 75 is the most that I also have for properties that are more valuable still with double closing. If you offer 75%, it is a lot. I mean, it's insane. It's a very high offer that you make, but it's still a double close. And if the property is valuable, if you have 75% of $200,000, I mean, is how much? 150,000 probably. So you have still 50,000 gross profit that you can make out of it, and without using any of your money. So I believe in double closing. Actually, it's not my first way to go, but it's a very nice backup plan always in my offers.
What percentage of your offers do you think end up being double close, or excuse me, of your contracts end up being double closes?
I would say, I didn't track this, but I would say 70% is straight purchase and 30% the double close. But I have no problem. I mean, one of the things that during the pre-qualification that is run by my intake manager, so when she talked to the seller the first time, is, are you in a rush to sell? And this is a very important question for someone doing double close, because if the guy says, in that case, even more if I'm not 100% sure about the market value, there are not too many comps, the double close might become plan. So if I know that the seller is not in a rush, I have some doubts about real market value, and so that could be high. But today I would say 70% straight purchase, 30% is double close.
With your acquisitions manager, sounds like he's got training in the past, so he'll be able to be pretty creative. Do you have a fairly standardized script for the acquisitions manager, or is that, you think about that more teaching concepts and then putting them on the phone and maybe listening to calls?
Yes, actually, this is something that I thought about. Having this acquisition manager has experience, I am more towards, in fact, I call it training. What we are actually doing is not a training, it's just an onboarding. So I'm explaining in how to price, how I price, because he was pricing also with the other company. So how I price, how I come to an offer, and this is how I work. I don't want to get too much into the details of how to talk to the seller. Also because I believe he has a more sales experience than I have. So it would be, other than teaching him how we work and the things that I want, the how, I'm sure that he is more than qualified to find it himself.